My research focuses on health and humanitarian operations. I am Raha Akhavan. I am a professor of operations management and business analytics at Sabancı Business School. My research focuses on health and humanitarian operations. I actually direct a group of researchers called SUHOPE, which stands for Sabancı University Health and Humanitarian Operations. And we are currently researching the humanitarian supply chain that formed during the Kahramanmaraş earthquake of 2023. One of my PhD students is looking at the supply side, and the other one is looking at the demand side of this supply chain. So we are using different resources such as data from Twitter, a lot of interviews, surveys, and talking to different companies, corporations, NGOs, government entities, and individuals to understand the donation behavior. How do people and corporations make the decision around donating to earthquake or disaster victims is one side of this bigger problem, and how are the demands communicated, and how do the beneficiaries and the victims of the earthquake express their demand, and how is this demand communicated back to the donors. The reason why we focused on this research project is that during the earthquake, especially during the first 2 weeks of the earthquake, we observed a huge flux of donations, but also we observed, all of us, the very unfortunate videos and scenes of beneficiaries, earthquake victims, people who had lost their homes, also still waiting and waiting and waiting for very essential items such as water, such as medications, such as tents. And there was a very clear mismatch of supply and demand items. And this directly is a supply chain issue, which is one of the topics that we work on at Sabancı Business School. So that got me very interested into the topic, and I formed this research group to start looking at the reasons why this significant mismatch happened during the immediate aftermath of the Kahramanmaraş earthquake. So on the demand side, we are extracting data from Twitter thanks to a lab at our computer science department who generously shared this data with us. We are looking at this data set, and we are focusing on the tweets that specifically mentioned certain items. We have a list of items that we have collected from different sources, and we are looking at the frequency of those tweets over time in different locations and regions, because that earthquake was geographically a very vast area as well. So we are looking at how the demand was communicated, and then how was the donation in response to that demand. And we already are observing that the donations did not necessarily correspond with the demands. People had different motivations for donations, including what made them feel good about their own donations and not necessarily what exactly is needed. On the ground, the other problem is that the communication had a major lag in it. So some item that was tweeted today kept being retweeted for many days, while the need had already been fulfilled. So there was a clear lack of flow of information, which is another problem that creates disruptions and blockages in a supply chain. It is a classical problem, and we also can observe it happening during the Kahramanmaraş earthquake. Our end goal with this project is to create a mechanism that can inform the donors better in a more timely fashion and up-to-date fashion what is needed where and until when. And when a need is fulfilled, then the needs will be updated, and the new donors can adjust their donations according to what exactly is needed at the point of donation, and not just whatever that is at their homes or whatever that they can donate, because this also creates a lot of pollution, material waste in the supply chain. And we all I think, remember all those huge boxes of clothing that were sitting alongside the roads under the rain. Nobody was using them. They were polluting the area and they were completely useless, where a lot of good-hearted donors had taken out of their own homes to donate to the victims. So this is some good deed that basically goes punished, sort in a way, because of this miscommunication and miscoordination in the supply chain. And our goal is to reduce that amount of waste and to align the donations with the demands in a way that the supply chain works in a better and more efficient way.